Campfire, it's Ellie, and I'm back with Chapter 2 of Nanea, the Spirit of Aloha. Again, the book is down below that you can download, and you can follow along with me, or you can read it on your own. Chapter 2 Kokua. Rose Mommy had been Nanea's neighbor for so long that she was part of Nanea's ohana. Nanea called her Auntie Rose. So did Lily and Donna. Auntie Rose made beautiful leis, which she sold to the tourists on the pier. Nanea had made plenty of leis as part of hula class, and Lily knew how to make them too, but Donna didn't. Auntie Rose had offered to teach her, and Lily and Nanea wanted to sit in on the lesson. So the three kittens were with Auntie Rose on her back porch, surrounded by baskets of plumeria blossoms. Auntie Rose gave each girl a basket of flowers, along with needles and crochet thread. Now, dip the needle in petroleum jelly, Auntie Rose instructed. That keeps the blossoms from tearing. Donna dipped her needle and then poked at a flower petal. I'm all thumbs when it comes to sewing, Donna confessed. Slide your needle through the eye of the bloom, Auntie Rose told her. She showed Donna what to do. As they all worked, Auntie Rose told them what it was like to grow up on Oahu when she was a girl, and how she learned to make leis from her tutu. One of my favorite things about Hawaii is that people take time to talk, Donna said. We've all grown up talking story, Nanea said. Lily nodded in agreement. Our ancestors didn't write down their stories, Auntie Rose explained. They told them to one another. Talking story keeps our past alive, and taking time to talk story helps us get to know one another. It really helps us care about our neighbors and friends. Well, I like it, Donna said. When I'm your age, Auntie Rose, I'm going to talk story to my children and grandchildren about living in Honolulu. She held up her tattered lei. But I might skip the part about how bad I am at doing this. Auntie Rose chuckled and made a few tweaks to Donna's lei. Better? She asked. Donna snapped her gum happily. Better, she said. When the leis were long enough, the girls tied knots and snipped off the ends. The girls modeled their creations, and Auntie Rose complimented each one, pronouncing them all nani, beautiful. There is a lot of aloha, a lot of love in these leis, she said. Donna giggled. Maybe aloha makes up for the lumps. It's time for me to get to the pier and get ready for business, Auntie Rose said. We need to go too, Lily said. My dad is giving us a ride. The girls were going to the pier to watch the enormous Matson ocean liner depart for the 5-day return trip to San Francisco. The girls showered Auntie Rose with thank yous and then hurried up the street to Lily's house. Soon they were bouncing along in Uncle Fudge's truck. As they got closer to the pier, Nanea saw the Aloha Tower, the famous lighthouse that welcomed everyone into Honolulu Harbor. Uncle Fudge eased into a parking spot, and the girls clambered out of the truck. As they all thumped up the 2 flights of stairs to the pier, Nanea smiled at the shower of paper streamers and confetti floating down from the ship's deck. She watched island boys diving for the coins that tourists tossed into the water as the Royal Hawaiian Band played. Mixing with the music were the cries of the lei sellers. Carnation lei, 50 cents. Plumeria, 3 for $1. They displayed their wares to the hundreds of tourists leaving the island. Some people bought leis to keep as souvenirs, but tradition said if you offered your lei to the ocean and it made it back to shore, you would return to the island someday. The harbor was thick with floating flowers, because anyone who had ever been to Oahu wanted to come back. There's Auntie Rose, Nanea exclaimed, noticing the long line of tourists waiting to buy leis from her neighbor. A woman with 2 children waited at the very edge of the line. A little girl hung onto her mother's skirt. The boy wore a cowboy hat and spun a lasso, trying to catch something. Nanea laughed. The Matson liner blew its horn, signaling that it was time to board. I'm sorry, children, the mother said sadly. We don't have time to buy leis after all. She took their hands, and they started for the gangplank. The children looked so disappointed, especially the little girl. Nanea fingered the lei around her neck. She made a decision. Wait, she called, running after the family. Lily and Donna ran too. The family stopped, and the kittens caught up to them. The little girl smiled shyly. "Howdy, partner," said the boy. Donna laughed. "Howdy." Nanea knelt down in front of the little girl. "This is for you." Nanea placed her lei over the little girl's head. Donna did the same with the little boy, and Lily held her lei out to the mother. "Oh, that's so sweet." The mother fumbled with her pocketbook. No, Nanea said, standing up. "These are gifts." The mother smiled warmly. "Thank you," she said. "Mahalo." As the kittens watched them climb aboard the gangplank, the band began to play Aloha Oi. One sweet voice rose above all the other sounds, casting the lyrics over the crowd like a fisherman's net. The mother paused at the ship's rail to wave, and the children waved too. The kittens waved back. "That was a good idea, Nanea," Donna said. "I hated seeing those sad faces," Nanea answered. "I just realized something," Lily said. "The first task for the contest was to do a good deed for a stranger." "Kokua," Donna said, using the Hawaiian word for a good deed. Giving the leis to the family was kokua. Nanea hadn't even been thinking about the contest. But why couldn't it be both? "Only 3 tasks to go," Nanea said, "and plenty of time, too." Alright, so, let me ask you, is there anything that you have done to do a good deed for a stranger? Or maybe even for someone in your own family? Think about that before we have our next episode, alright? See you later.